Have you ever noticed how the things that play hard to get become instantly more attractive? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most counterintuitive but powerful psychological principles: how creating strategic distance can actually bring people closer to you. Whether it's in relationships, negotiations, or daily interactions, understanding this principle could completely change how people respond to you. Let's start with something that might seem completely backward at first. Think about that toy that gets pulled away right when a child reaches for it. Suddenly, it becomes the only thing they want. It's not just kids, we all do this. When something or someone starts moving away from us, we are biologically wired to pursue it. It's like we have an internal radar that gets activated the moment something becomes less available. This creates what psychologists call the scarcity effect, where absence doesn't make people forget you, it actually makes your presence more valuable. It's like creating a vacuum that naturally wants to be filled. Let's break down exactly why walking away has such a profound impact on human psychology. When you're not constantly available, people's minds start filling in the blanks. They wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not as accessible as before. This mystery creates intrigue that's hard to resist. The moment you step back, something fascinating happens. The entire dynamic shifts. The person who was taking you for granted suddenly realizes they're no longer in control of the situation. Our brains are wired to value what we might lose more than what we might gain. When you walk away, you trigger this primal fear of loss that makes people reassess your value. Your absence creates a space for others to reflect on your importance in their lives. Without your constant presence, they're forced to confront what life would be like without you. There's fascinating science behind why walking away affects us so deeply. Let me break down the psychological principles at play. Reactance theory shows that when our freedom to have something is threatened, we desire it more intensely. It's like telling someone they can't have that last cookie. Suddenly, it's the only cookie they want. When someone walks away, our brain does something interesting. It switches from what's wrong with them to what's special about them. This psychological reversal happens because we assume they must have better options or higher standards. The uncertainty created by someone's absence triggers a dopamine response in our brains, the same chemical released during gambling or playing video games. We become addicted to the anticipation of their return. We naturally assign a higher value to things that are harder to obtain. It's why limited edition items sell out instantly, and why someone who's selective with their time and attention seems more valuable to us. Let's look at how this principle plays out in different areas of life. You might be surprised how often these situations come up. In the workplace, walking away can be a powerful tool when used strategically. Imagine being in a salary negotiation. The moment you show you're willing to walk away from a low offer, suddenly better offers start appearing on the table. When leading a project, stepping back can make team members step up and take more initiative rather than depending on you for everything. With difficult clients, sometimes taking a step back and becoming less available makes them value your time and expertise more. Personal relationships are where we often see this dynamic play out most dramatically. In dating, being constantly available can make you seem less valuable. Creating healthy space often increases attraction and interest. Sometimes friends take advantage of your availability. Setting boundaries by being less available often leads to more balanced friendships. With family, especially adult relationships, creating healthy distance can actually lead to more meaningful connections when you do spend time together. Social media has created new scenarios where this principle applies perfectly. Taking breaks from social media often makes people more curious about what you're up to, increasing engagement when you return. Content creators who post less frequently, but with higher quality, often generate more anticipation and engagement. Being selective about your online presence can make your posts and interactions more valued by your followers. There's a fine line between strategic distance and pushing people away permanently. Let's compare the right and wrong ways to create space. The key difference is intention and execution. One builds respect, while the other damages relationships. Set clear, healthy boundaries about your time and energy. This shows self-respect and helps others understand your limits. Using distance as a way to punish or control others will backfire. People can sense manipulation, and it erodes trust. Always maintain a foundation of respect and professionalism. This keeps doors open for future interaction. Walking away out of anger or hurt feelings usually leads to regret and damaged relationships. Use the space to genuinely work on yourself. This creates real value that others will notice when you return. Alternating between being extremely available and completely distant confuses people and weakens your position. Once you set a boundary, stick to it. This builds trust and shows you mean what you say. Disappearing without any explanation or context can cause permanent damage to relationships and your reputation. Here's the golden rule that makes all the difference in how this strategy plays out. Notice these two highlighted phrases. They might sound similar, but they represent completely different mindsets. The first is about personal growth and healthy boundaries, while the second is about manipulation and games. This distinction is crucial because it determines whether you're building genuine connections or putting people away. When you walk away to create value, you're investing in yourself and allowing others to miss your genuine qualities. But when you're just trying to manipulate, people will eventually see through it, and it'll backfire. While creating strategic distance can be powerful, there are clear signs that indicate you might be taking it too far or doing it for the wrong reasons. If you find yourself constantly checking to see how they're reacting to your absence, you're not really walking away. You're still emotionally entangled. True strategic distance means you're focused on your own growth, not their response. When the distance you're creating causes you more anxiety than the other person, that's a red flag. Healthy distance should feel empowering, not draining. If you're losing sleep or feeling stressed, you might need to reassess your approach. Posting cryptic messages or stories hoping they'll see them is a sign you're playing games rather than creating genuine space. This often backfires and makes you appear less authentic. If you're meticulously tracking how long it takes them to respond, or how many times they reach out, you're turning this into a power game rather than a growth opportunity. Finding yourself unable to maintain the distance you've set suggests you might be using this strategy as a quick fix rather than a genuine boundary. Remember, consistency is key for this to work effectively. Let's break down exactly how to implement this strategy effectively, step by step. Before walking away, honestly assess your situation. Ask yourself, are you doing this out of growth or reaction? What do you hope to achieve? This clarity of purpose will guide your actions and help you stay committed to your decision. Don't just disappear. Whether it's a professional or personal situation, communicate your boundaries respectfully. Something like, "I need some time to focus on personal projects," is much better than suddenly going silent. Make your distance count. This isn't about playing hide and seek, it's about creating space for growth. Turn off notifications, set specific hours for engagement, or take a complete break depending on your situation. Use this time productively. Learn a new skill, work on a project, or improve your physical health. When people see you again, they should notice positive changes. This validates your decision to create distance. Know what needs to happen before you fully re-engage. Maybe it's achieving a personal goal, seeing specific changes in others' behavior, or reaching a certain time milestone. Having clear conditions prevents you from falling back into old patterns. Let's look at 3 real-world scenarios where walking away transformed the outcome. Here's how a software developer turned a mediocre job offer into an exceptional one. When Sarah received an offer that was below market rate, instead of negotiating immediately, she thanked them and said she needed time to consider other opportunities. During her 2-week pause, she continued interviewing elsewhere and updated her portfolio, showing she had options and wasn't desperate. The company came back with a significantly improved offer, including better benefits and a higher salary, fearing they might lose a valuable candidate. A content creator discovered the power of strategic absence in building engagement. Mark was posting multiple times daily, getting moderate engagement, but feeling burnout and running out of ideas. He switched to posting just once a week, but spent more time creating higher quality, well-researched content. His average post engagement doubled, and his followers actually looked forward to his weekly posts instead of scrolling past daily updates. Here's how creating space transformed a strained relationship. David found himself always being the one to initiate plans and accommodate others' schedules, leading to resentment. He decided to take 3 weeks to focus on his hobbies and personal growth, communicating his need for space clearly. When he returned, friends who had taken him for granted showed more respect for his time and actively worked to maintain the friendship. Before we wrap up, let's lock in these essential truths about walking away that will serve you well in any situation. Sometimes you need to step back to see the full picture. Just like you can't read a book with it pressed against your face, you can't understand a situation when you're too close to it. Distance isn't just about creating value, it's about gaining perspective. People might not always believe what you say, but they'll always believe what you do. Walking away isn't about making threats or promises, it's about taking action that aligns with your worth and values. Let your absence speak louder than your words ever could. Never walk away just to play mind games. Walk away to grow, to improve, to realign. The most powerful form of walking away is when you're genuinely focused on becoming a better version of yourself, not on manipulating others' reactions. And here's the most important thing to remember. Your value doesn't change whether you stay or walk away. Walking away just helps others recognize what was always there. You're not creating worth through absence, you're simply revealing it.